what's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? How y'all doing? It's Kush back at it again with another episode of the Young Guns podcast call in. Did I say Young Guns? The Just Chillin podcast call in show. My bad, yo. You know, weird thing. This mic is directly lined up with my face, but it's not directly lined up. Like I think I have to move it. It's bothering me the way it look. It's whatever, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Cletus, Sober Party, Super Taj, and I got Mike Nixon in the back. It's been a while since I spoke to him. Definitely going to be excited to pop him on in a few minutes. Guys, shout out to JJM in the chat as well. As you're popping in, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and most importantly, please hit that share button. Let the people know that we are live. Without further ado, shout out to CMLix26 in the chat as well. You guys see the title right down here. 6-1 and rolling. You guys see the title of the stream on YouTube as well, like all the way down there. The Giants are 6-1. Can they go on a run? Kind of a little bit of a slant rhyme, or maybe it is a full rhyme. But it's definitely a legitimate question that we should all be asking ourselves as Giants fans. Like, we're 6-1. Act like it. This is a team that's winning games. Act like it. This is a team that's winning games. And a division, in my opinion, that is still 100% up for grabs. I don't care that the Eagles are undefeated. They're not going to stay undefeated. And even if they stay undefeated, we got a good history with undefeated teams, okay? So, division up for grabs. Unless we literally collapse in on ourselves, I don't see us missing the playoffs. Because injuries have been a problem for us, but this coaching staff has been elite with these backup players and making them execute well and fill in their positions well. Big shout out to Bobby Johnson, our offensive line coach, because we were down Evan Neal and Ben Bredesen this game. Josh Suzuki came in, looked way better than he ever did before. And Tyree Phillips, I believe, is the name of our backup right tackle. I'll admit, I didn't even know the guy existed. I didn't know he was on our team before he got subbed in for Evan Neal. And he did a really good job. So good shout out to Bobby Johnson. There's just so many things to talk about from this past game. There's so many things to talk about moving forward. Shout out to Ravon Anderson in the chat as well, man. Let me just get y'all on. I'll start by getting y'all on, and we'll start with channel member, longtime subscriber, and friend, Mike Nixon. What up, Mike? How you doing?
Yeah, what is up, Hub?
You're...
Man, it feels great to be 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
It feels great. And it feels great to not have to talk the draft like we have been. Like we have been in prior years. We were talking the draft week 1 or week 2. This year, nah. It just feels great.
Shout out to Marjorie Simmons in the chat. Let me get a couple of these comments here, Mike. Super Tosh says DJ player of the game. And he says the game ball goes to him. CMLX says, do you think DJ is a top 10 quarterback right now? And I'll get Marjorie's comment, but it's very clear that's the topic they want us to talk about, Mike. Marjorie says, I still think we need a solid wide receiver. Injuries suck, but so far so good. I agree with her. I really, really want the Giants to somehow make a move for a wide receiver. She also adds on to the DJ topic, saying, very impressed with DJ on Sunday. I loved him in that game. Go ahead, Mike. What did you think about Daniel Jones' performance on Sunday? And to be honest, his performance for the past 3 games. Because Packers, Ravens, and now Jacksonville, I feel like the best stretch this season for him. This very young season. But so far, Packers, Ravens, and Jacksonville, he performed really well in.
Yeah, he's definitely come through to me. Maybe just think about like signing him or extending him through the franchise tag for a year. He's definitely shown improvement this year, which I'm very glad. And that's all us real Giant fans wanted, was to see improvement. And that's what we have seen in Daniel Jones and this team.
Yeah. Griminator says DJ is 6th in QBR, definitely a top 10 QB so far this year. Well, I wouldn't say base your top 10 quarterbacks list solely off of QBR because
Mhm.
like every single stat, context is needed. I'm not sure if I'd say Daniel has been a top 10 quarterback this year, but at the same time, as crazy as it sounds, quarterbacks have been really kind of bad this year, Mike. So like if I try to name 10 QBs this year that have been better than him, it's not like he's far out of the top 10.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely been on a top 15 level. That's something
yeah,
I'm very comfortable saying.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
But as far as wide receivers go, I would I would definitely like to add one through the trade deadline. As I mentioned on Sunday, like a Brandon Cooks, which
I admit I turned it down at the time. I'm more open to it now than I was then. And to give the chat context, during the game on Sunday, Mike was throwing out a few names to me and KB that are potential trade targets if the Giants want to upgrade a
mhm.
wide receiver. Brandon Cooks is somebody that's been really reliable when healthy on the field in the NFL.
Or
Almost every season he's been healthy. He's been a 1,000-yard receiver with or
yeah,
without a good quarterback. It's just that's my issue. It's like, damn, is he gonna stay healthy?
yeah. Which I mean, he has been better on that front since he's gone to the Texans. I believe he's maybe missed like a total of 5 games or maybe more. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
too sure. But the other the other name that the potentially look out for because he's young and he's on his rookie deal, Jerry Judy.
It's a name that has been floating around a lot in the Giants community, but there's a good amount of people against it because of Judy's drop problems. But like,
Yeah,
and I get the fear because to be fair, we've had
yeah,
some terrible drop problems
yeah,
over the years. Like
yeah.
I understand like the fear completely. At the same time, though, I feel like Jerry Judy is better than anybody else we got on this receiving core right now.
hmm Or I mean, I'm
JJM, real quick,
open.
Mike. JJM just dropped a name that I didn't start thinking about until today. Shout out to Keyshawn Johnson. I will say there is a couple of shows on mainstream media that I do like that I feel are for the most part, not completely, but for the most part objective and give really good sports opinions out there. The
hmm
morning show with Max, Keyshawn, and Jay Williams is really good. It's technically a radio show. They just have the video on ESPN2 in the morning.
hmm
And Keyshawn Johnson, he said T. Higgins is a name the Giants should
Yeah.
consider. He's somebody that's not even entered his prime yet, still very young. Somebody that with the Bengals is not necessarily their number one receiver, but in his rookie year had like over 900 receiving yards, showed that he could
hmm
be a number one. And even
hmm
at the Bengals situation, shows that he could still be the guy in games at times. And I'm just like, that's a name. That's a good name for sure.
Yeah, but would the will the Bengals actually trade him? Is the thing
Yeah, that's a good
because
thing.
because you have Chase and Higgins, you have two young pieces, and
They got Tyler Boyd as well. Don't forget that.
yeah, but
They have
I know,
three great receivers.
I know, but Boyd is like getting up there in age because I think he was drafted
Wasn't he
2014 or 2015.
really? Why did I think Tyler Boyd was drafted in 2017? He was drafted that long ago?
Maybe, maybe I'm wrong.
He's like
Maybe I'm
he's like
wrong.
26 or 27.
Okay, okay.
I mean, he's definitely older than the other guys, but I don't think he's as old as you're saying he is. Yeah, he was taken in 2016 draft, second round, so he's
Okay,
27
okay,
right now.
okay,
So he
okay.
got, bro, honestly, he got a good like 6, 7 years left.
Yeah, I wonder though, would the Bengals maybe like trade him?
Boyd. The thing is that unlike Higgins, I don't think I see wide receiver one potential in Boyd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And
How about
obviously,
how
it's a
about
complete stretch. What you're banking on with the Bengals, of course, is that they don't want to pay Higgins because they're gonna have to pay Chase. So that's what they're
yeah?
banking on.
How about two other names I've heard were on the Pittsburgh Steelers: Deontay Johnson or Chase Claypool.
So my thoughts on these two. Shout out to Nova Nebula, Griminator in the chat, Latin08. And let me get this comment, this Marge bomb. Marge, please put the bomb emoji in chat. Marge bomb here. She says,
Oh
tight
no!
end Andre Miller is joining the Giants
Huh?
practice squad per Dan Duggan.
Yeah,
Miller was
I
in
know
line to
that.
make the Giants roster in camp until fracturing his wrist. Was an undrafted wide receiver out of Maine. Andre the Giant. Hey, that's a good nickname. If he actually comes out and does some good things for us, that's a good nickname.
Hmm.
Of course, we all know, unfortunately, uh, we don't know how long he's out for, but the fractured eye socket for tight end one, Dan Bellinger, who like
Yeah.
basically every Giants fan loved and was on the train of. You know, he got that fractured eye socket. He might have to. I think he is going to undergo surgery. We don't know how long he's out for, but I'm going to assume it's for like a good amount of time.
Hmm.
So we need all the tight end help we could get. Getting back to the two guys you mentioned, I'll start off with Claypool. I don't know if I want him just because of like the attitude issue, and
Yeah.
like he seems really distracted off the field, man. Like
Hmm.
every NFL wide people mock this dude for him celebrating getting the first down in that playoff game, and they were down by like 20 points or something. And then right after he went and made TikToks, and it's just like he just doesn't seem like his head is completely in the game. With
Hmm.
Deontay Johnson, this is where I'm gonna need you to educate me a little bit. I don't know too much about him. I just don't know. Like, is he legit? Like, can he be a wide receiver one? Because I remember his first couple years there, he was like a wide receiver three.
Hmm. I the thing about Ante Johnson, he started out having drop problems, but I think he's cleaned that up for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I I honestly think because I loved him coming out of the 2019 or 2020
It was either
draft.
18 or 19, one out of those 2 years. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
19.
yeah. I really liked him coming out of college, and believe it or not, like he's a really good route runner,
Mm-hmm.
and he almost he almost what has good route running ability. I kind
By the
of
way, I just want to say, chat, you guys let me know your opinion of any of these receivers we're talking about right now. Just put them in the chat. Let me see what you guys think. And definitely let me know what you think about Deontay Johnson. I'm looking here at his stats. So he was drafted in 2019, had his first 1,000-yard season last year with 1,161 yards. Like I said, I don't really watch him play, so I gotta get a bit more context to that if you could
mhm.
provide any, Mike. So good route runner. What else? Shout out to Yuvraj in the chat.
He's a good route runner. He can create separation. He almost reminds me of AB without the attitude problems.
That's a really big comparison, yo, because Antonio Brown in his prime was one of the best receivers,
Yeah.
like like arguably in NFL history. So I don't know about that's a big comparison, Mike. That's a big one right
Hmm.
there. I don't know, man.
Hmm. But I mean, if if we don't get at a receiver like during the trade deadline, I do, however, think we should trade for one in the off season. And the perfect receiver that I would be interested in trading for would be Calvin Ridley.
That's the name people brought up as well, because his his suspension would be up. Would the Falcons want to trade him though? I know the Falcons are kind of in rebuild mode, but he's
I
still
mean,
young. You know what I mean?
they added Drake London.
Uh, I feel like that
So,
falls in the category of like what we were talking about earlier with the Bengals, where it's like they have two good receivers. It's definitely one I'll
yeah,
target though, because Dable did
he,
coach him. Did Dable coach him at Bama or no? Or
he might have.
was
He
he after
might
was he
have.
after Dable's time at Bama?
He might have. He might have.
Yeah. So let me get these
But
next couple chats right here. Nova says I'm good on Claypool. He could keep his TikTok butt over there. Yeah, that's my main
yeah,
concern with him. He just doesn't seem like his head is in the game completely. Antonio Brown got more than just attitude problems. That's true. That man needs to see a doctor. AJ Nick says Richie James should play more. I'll know. I'll know about that. I feel like I've had a lot of Richie James on Marcus Johnson with their drops, but we'll see what happens. Your Rod says Calvin is a free agent this year. Oh, so maybe we won't trade for him. Mike will probably just sign him.
ooh,
Mark,
that's
that's
a
yeah,
good point.
yeah. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on. Marjorie says I like Jerry Jeudy, cheap contract. He's unhappy in Denver. I like him as well. But you guys know me. I'm a Giants fan, so I have zero time to watch Denver Broncos. Anytime I bring this up on Twitter, though, people like they always say he has terrible drop problems. So, chat, let me know what you think about Jerry Jeudy. Shout out to Authentic in the chat. What up,
I
man?
mean,
Y'all definitely need to check out the best TV show not on TV over on Authentic's channel. There, go ahead, Mike.
I bet the receivers coach can teach him up and fix his drop problems.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
like
so 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 DJ Moore is just not in our minds because it's just like that's
I
unattainable. Is
mean,
that what it is? It's just
no,
completely unattainable.
no, I wouldn't mind DJ Moore. It's just
It's unattainable, right? Like, is that not what it is?
how would Shane like maneuver that contract or
Yeah.
whatever? That's the only
The thing is, and
reason why.
I see Lou bringing up with his comment, his cap hit though. The thing is, DJ Moore's cap hit is bad only to us. He's actually on a team friendly deal. It's just that we have like the tightest cap space in the NFL right
Yeah,
now that is gonna be bad for us.
exactly. That's
But
why.
that's part of the great thing. If he somehow can maneuver it, Mike, we're set for basically the length of his contract because it's a team friendly deal.
Yeah.
But
So
obviously it's very very close to impossible, basically.
all right. So like, if I were to rank the receivers that we would can get, it would be Judy number one just because of the contract because he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll still have him for I believe like 2 more years plus the fifth year. So Judy would be one. Brandon Cooks would be two. DJ Moore would be three.
Mm-hmm. So let's shift away from the wide receivers a little bit. I'm gonna shift to this topic with you and then get the next caller on. Let's talk about the Giants' road ahead. Where can you see this team finishing, man? Or if you don't want to go that far ahead, like in the next month, where do you see this team ending up right now? Because we are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. We are a team that wins games somehow, some way. We find a way to win games, and I feel like we need to embrace that a little bit more.
So can you just pull up the schedule and
I'll read it out to you.
yeah.
Giants schedule. So obviously we have Seattle next week, and
Which
then we
which
are
I
yeah.
which I'm kind of back and forth on just because it is Seattle and it is a tough environment. I mean, most definitely we can win that game. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll I'll mark that. I'll mark that as a dub.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to got these comments by the way. Jamar Wilson says I want DJ Moore over any of these wide receivers. Super Taj says DJ Moore just got his first big contract. True, but once again, it's kind of team friendly. Shout out to Lestat just popping in and G-Men for life popping in as well. Raj says, I think Shane will go in the cheaper route and get a guy like Terrace Marshall, Jerry Jeudy, and this is not a cheap option, but Brandon Cooks is an interesting one. Terrace Marshall is another name that when you bring up to the Giants community, they all say that he's not the guy we're necessarily looking for. You know what I mean? But we're already off that topic, Mike, though. So you said we'd take a W against Seattle. We have our bye week. Then we come back, and I think we host the Texans.
Dub.
We did host the Lions after that.
Dub.
Then the Thanksgiving game, we go to Cherry World for the Cowboys.
I'll give us a dub.
Okay. I personally believe we can beat them as well. Like, I would really sadden me if we get swept by the Cowboys. But for those of you keeping track, that means the Giants are on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-game win streak if that happens through Thanksgiving. Then we get home and we host the Commanders.
Dub.
Then we host the Eagles.
I just can't pick us against the Eagles until I see we can beat them on a consistent basis.
That's fair. That's fair. So we'll take the L there. That's a 9-game winning streak. That's impressive.
Take but I will, however, say that game has a very good chance to be flexed.
No, I think the January 8 game might be flexed, or maybe both of them would be flexed. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we take the L against the Eagles. So then we go to the Commanders.
Dub.
Then we go to the Vikings, who are, they're basically in terms of record, same record as us, 5-1, but they had the bye week just now. L, so we lose to the Vikings. Then we host the Colts.
Dub.
And we end the season in Philadelphia against the Eagles.
I'm gonna say dub.
So we finished the season 14-3. That's crazy. Yo, that's a crazy record, bro. 14-3.
I know.
Jesus,
I know.
That's crazy.
But
it's impossibility. Listen, it's really possible. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. It is possible. Like, my thing is not far off. Like, I'm on such a Giants high right now. You guys could definitely call it bias, but like, I'm on such a Giants high right now that I honestly see a very similar. Like, if this team continues to play the way it is, and if we get healthy, I see the down the stretch could go something similar to this. Obviously, the most important games, I'm not worried about the Commanders, but the division games overall, you got to include them. They're going to be the most important games. And we play 6 division games. Let me count 5 division games we play in the last half of the schedule. It's crazy. So those are going to be the most important. Mike, let me get your last thoughts before I pop on the next guest, who also is Mike.
All right. So let me just quickly get off football for a second. What's your thoughts on the Knicks so far this year?
Let me just I'll answer that by just showing the shirt that I'm wearing.
Nice.
Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. I would have hoped. I just wish that RJ doesn't take 20 games every season to get started. That's annoying me. I can't lie to you. That is really annoying me. Like,
but
bro, you just got your contract.
So far, Jalen Brunson has done.
Jalen Brunson deal is completely worth it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Bumble is starting to show signs of his 2020 self.
Yep. I'll definitely say knock on wood with everything, though. We've only the only real team we've played, in my opinion, has been the Grizzlies, and we did stay toe-to-toe with them, but we got to see how we do against other teams.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, thank you so much, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No problem,
I'll try to talk to you in Discord.
Have a good one, Mike. Pleasure as always.
Yeah.
Before I get the next mic on here, let me get some of the chats. Shout out to Hit Squad in there, man. What's up, bro? How you doing? Yuvraj says, without injuries, our ceiling is 14-2. Our floor is 11-6, but I have us at 12. So not necessarily right in the middle, but a little bit in between those two records. Marjorie says we need to beat the Cowboys. Completely agree with you. I would be so sick if somehow the Cowboys get playoff seeding above us because they just have tiebreakers on us, man. That would be really, really bad. Dominator says, rumor has it Judy's only worth a second and a fourth. If he's only worth a second and a fourth, yeah, I'd want to make the deal too. But we got some disagreements from CM, Alex, and G-Man for Life. They both say no. Marjorie says, I see us winning one of two with the Eagles. I think that if we play our best football, we're splitting with the Eagles and Cowboys. I really do. Let me see. What is the comment after that? CM Alex says, not giving up 2 picks, especially a second for a wide receiver about to get paid with drop issues. And that is really the most compelling argument against the Jerry Jeudy train. Yuvraj says, I have a splitting with the Eagles and Cowboys and sweeping the commies. I'm kind of in the same boat with you there. Authentic says, we haven't played our best football yet, or to think we haven't played our best football yet. And I'm with you there too. I can't wait. I find myself saying this every single year, but we're in a year where we're actually winning. Team is executing. The coaching is stupendous. I can't wait until we fully get healthy on both sides of the ball, man. Griminator says, we're guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point. God forbid an epic collapse. We need a wide receiver if we're going to do anything substantial, though. I agree with you there as well. Marjorie says, my biggest fear is either losing DJ or Saquon. Don't even put that out into the universe. Knock on wood. Both of them have been relatively healthy this year, and I love it. And I'm just going to scroll down. Shout out to Bobby Murphy, local Eagles fan in the chat. Just one NYG in the chat. Sedan Smith. Hey, is that Sharju? But it says Suraju. My bad. Matt S. Amazing guy. Charles Barkley in the chat. And Authentic says we have to compensate for some bad football at some point. I think there will be a stretch for a few games where we struggle, maybe take some L's. That thought pops into my head too, but I'm just like, where do we take the L's? And the division pops up immediately. Like, because I know that we're a better team than the Seahawks and Texans. Doesn't necessarily mean those are guaranteed wins, but I just feel like we're better teams than them. It's the division where it really comes up, and it's like, those games could go either way. Even the Commanders, who I'm not taking too seriously, but they starting to get a little bit of wind under them with 2 straight wins. Let me pop in the next caller. It is Mike Green. What up, Mike? How you doing?
Yo, what's good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. Driving home, enjoying this 6-1. You know, looking at all the haters as we've been doing all season. But what's happening?
How you doing, man? What's your takeaways from this past game, or what are you looking forward in terms of the future of the schedule, man?
Looking forward to us competing. Matter of fact, look forward to us getting a receiver. That's what I'm looking
Repeat that,
forward
Mike.
to.
You cut out for a second. Repeat what you said.
I'm looking forward to us getting a receiver to complete this offense.
Well, we're only about a week away from the trade deadline, so do you see it happening?
Yeah, I see it happening. Why not?
Who you
Even
got in
when
mind?
Tony come back, due to our cap situation, I really love DJ Moore because I feel like we can find a way to fit that in the cap. But if we gotta go the cheap route, I take Jerry Jeudy.
A lot of Giants fans have concerns with the fact that he's gonna command a big contract very soon, but he also has his drop issues. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, as a Florida Gator fan, I've seen Jerry Jeudy up close from Alabama. The man don't suck. Will you be in a losing environment like Denver's been, it kind of mess with your talent a little bit, mess with your psyche, your confidence, because you don't feel like whatever you can do is going to equate to a win. The Giants is a winning organization again. He have a quarterback who's going to give him the football, and you're going to come in as the number 1 wide receiver.
You think all he needs is a change of environment, basically, is what you're saying, to a better environment.
Yes. I'll give a perfect example. Amari Cooper, the last few years with the Raiders, Everybody like, it's a waste of draft pick. The hell was the Raiders doing? Waste of time. But as soon as he got traded to Dallas, wasn't he a Pro Bowl receiver?
Amari in his time in Dallas was top 10, arguably top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Change the scenery. So this could be the same thing for Jerry Judy.
Did Amari have drop issues though? Like that's everybody's main concern with Judy.
Yeah, Amari had drop issues in Oakland.
Repeat
He
that.
wasn't happy to be there. Amari had drop issues in Oakland. He wasn't happy with the Oakland.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's news.
Yeah. So when he got to Dallas, that changed because his environment changed. He felt a breath of fresh air. Judy can have that same result.
Yeah.
And for a second or fourth round pick, for a first rounder that you got under contract for a couple of years, and we can just get Tony on the field, that's a nasty combination with Wan'Dale Robinson.
And Wan'Dale looks good. I loved what he showed me this past game, man. That one catch where he bumped off of somebody and basically, like, it was supposed to be stopped, like, right at the first down marker, but he bumped off of that guy and got, like, an extra 6 or 7 yards.
Right.
Let me get your thoughts, though, Mike. Mike, let me get your thoughts on quarterback Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is the franchise quarterback of the New York Giants. I said this on the offseason. When you get this man on offensive line, and you get this man some weapons, which he ain't had yet, you're going to see why he was a 6th overall pick. Daniel Jones is very valuable to the New York Football Giants. 5 game-winning drives is not an accident.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Remember when I predicted number 5 is on the way?
Yeah, I do.
Last week.
I do.
Here's why I say that, Hub, because I didn't mention it last week. Eli Manning, his 4th year, was he teaming it up in the regular season?
You repeat that question? My bad.
I said, was Eli Manning tearing people up in the regular season in 2007?
I was too young to remember that, bro.
Okay, well, I can answer that for you. No, it was not. But when he got in the playoffs, he was a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that Super Bowl played in 2007?
Arizona.
Where's the Super Bowl this year?
Arizona. That's a mighty comparison there.
It's destiny, huh? It's destiny.
Whoa.
It's destiny for us to
Yeah.
have our turn.
I mean, the thing is that I am on a Giants high as well. I really believe we could make a legit playoff run. Once again, if we get healthy and we play the football we're playing downstretch towards the end of the regular season. If we get in the playoffs,
Like I said,
we can win a game or two. I really do believe that.
okay, I put it like this. Let's just say 3 teams in my division get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
After our division, are we really scared of Tampa Bay?
Not right now. No, Tampa Bay looks really lost right now.
Let's see. Kirk Cousins, because it looks like the Vikings is coming out the north at the moment.
I think the Vikings. I think the Vikings are legit.
I mean, yeah, they are. You can't deny it. But Kirk Cousins ain't been Kirk Cousins in the playoffs. Not yet. Let's see. We went the South. We did the North. The West. Who are we scared of at the West?
The NFC West is in shambles right now. We're facing Geno Smith if it wasn't for Saquon Barkley, this man Geno Smith would probably be winning comeback player of the year right now. Definitely excited for that Seattle game.
Gino playing out of his mind, no doubt about it. But we taking down Seattle this week. Believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the next relevant game is Turkey Day. Because we're going to take care of Seattle this Sunday. We ain't losing at home to the Texans and the Lions.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. And then on top of that, ain't nobody giving us no respect. 6-1, one of the best teams in the league. And they still waiting on our downfall,
Yeah.
They still waiting for us to fall on our damn face.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith this morning, it kind of annoyed me a little bit. He didn't have us in his top 5 rankings. Wait, let me finish though. What annoyed me more though was Mina Kimes, who's somebody that I think it actually is a good analyst at ESPN, was laughing at the Giants. I was just like, yo, that ticked me off a little bit. The only person on that panel defending the Giants was Keyshawn Johnson, man.
Hey, I want you to be mad. I was pissed off about it too.
Yeah.
But you want to know what, though? I know this shit. Why? Keep doubting us.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doubting us all the way to a championship. Keep that same energy.
I really want that to be it. I'm not gonna say on Twitter, obviously I've been saying Super Bowl run, but I'm for right now, in all seriousness, I really do think there's a playoff run that we could go on right now. If we get a receiver though, bro, I'm gonna be. Y'all can't stop the words that will come out of my mouth if we actually get a receiver. But I don't know. Let me read this comment right here. There was a comment here. The report said, shout out to Charles Barkley. There are a couple reports saying that the Giants might just stick with where they are at the trade deadline. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, you know?
Mike?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
It went out for a second. What you say?
Oh, no, I was just like, I think there's a playoff run coming. Let me get your last thoughts, though, Mike. And when you get home, and if I'm still on when you're home, definitely call back because the audio is a bit choppy.
Hey, man, we got Seattle this week. We're going into the bye 7-1. NYG for life. Let's keep proving the doubters wrong. Let's give the haters a reason to keep hating us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Hey, man, have a good one, Mike.
Love y'all, man. Peace.
Peace. I don't need to do an intro for this man. He does his own intros. So I'm just, I'm going to just pop him in.
Finally, R0B has come back to the Young Guns, baby.
Well, this is just the hub. This is just the hub. This is just chilling. This is just chilling. This is the call-in show.
I was legit laying in bed. I was about to put on The Longest Yard, and I saw your DM. I was like, all right, let me throw on a shirt. Let me go downstairs real quick. How about my boy?
Hey, I appreciate that. You had to go downstairs. That was quick. That was actually quick.
Yeah,
you appeared there within like 2 minutes.
I was gonna join on my phone, but my phone's about to die, and I had like just turned off all my freaking computer and shit like that. And I was just like upstairs.
I gotta see. Yo, send me a picture of your setup because it looks. Do you have a dual screen setup as well, or is it ultra wide screen?
Yeah. So I had somebody that was living with me. That I had 4 monitors. So I've got here. Let me just do it like this.
4 monitors. That's a lot.
So I got my TV up here.
Yeah.
It's a 55-inch TV. I got that monitor there. That's my game monitor, and then I had a monitor right here, but the guy took it back when he left. So I have a work monitor that I use. So when I'm not working, I pull it, I turn it horizontally, set it up. So I'll have all that shit going on.
That's a whole bunch of monitors. But let's get to the topics here, man. First off, your biggest takeaways from that Week 7 win against Jacksonville. First things first, let me hear it.
I mean, the big things to take away. First thing is the quarterback play. I think Daniel played a great game. He looked more comfortable. He's looking more and more comfortable in the pocket the last few weeks. Even starting with the Packers game and going into the Ravens game, and now in this game now. Um, I think that Dable and Dable and Kafka are doing a really good job at getting him comfortable, putting packages and plays together that he does well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that it's been working for him. The second thing would have to be Kayvon. I think we saw a
Okay,
different
Vaughn
side of
is yeah.
Kayvon. We're used to him getting hold. Like that's something that's been going on, week after week. Like that shit don't
I
change.
feel like we're used to just getting our edge rushers held now because it started
Yeah.
really in week 3 when Aziz was getting choked out by the Cowboys left tackle, and ever since
Mhm.
then, obviously, unfortunately, Aziz hasn't been healthy. Kayvon, it feels like, has been held week in week out. We experienced this last year with Dexter, and now Dexter, he's powering through the holes. Remember last year, it seemed like every game this man they had to hold Dexter Lawrence to stop him from getting to the quarterback.
Oh, indeed. Like I posted a picture. I think I posted it on Twitter today. It might have been in a group chat. Dexter Lawrence was getting double teamed, and he beat a double team by a top rookie draft pick in Fortner
Mm-hmm.
that was playing rookie for the center for them, and Brandon Sheriff, the top offensive lineman free agent. So you had these two guys double teaming him, and he shedded the block to get into Lawrence's face to force a bad throw. I mean, what more can you
Dexter
ask?
Lawrence, like, I always thought he was good, and I was like, there was a good amount of Giants fans that like didn't want him. They were fine with him, but they thought like, he's not that guy at the position. Always have faith in him, but even I must admit, he's playing literally at a top 5 just defensive lineman, not interior, defensive lineman overall. He's playing at a top 5 defensive lineman type of level right now. And that's crazy to think about. And you're right. Like, there's times when you're on the field, you're just watching the game. You don't even got to watch film to notice. You're watching the game, and you
Yeah.
see the man. He just seems unstoppable up the middle. And I'm just like, you know, Wink was the perfect coordinator to use all of Dexter's skills because I never thought that somebody at his size that can move the way he does and has the strength that he has should be relegated to just a nose tackle. He always had potential to be something more, and you see the
Yeah.
way Wink uses him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look how Wink was using Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell, obviously, he's not, is a big, like Calais Campbell's a big dude, but similar skill set, power, strong, can, get down the line. I would even argue that I think Dexter is top 3. If I was going to pick 3D linemen right now, I would say it would be Donald, Nick Bosa, and then Dexter Lawrence.
Mhm.
As far as like being absolutely dominant this year, and can really like just disrupt a game. That would be my 3 picks. So
I want to pivot this a little bit to another D lineman. Somebody that I always thought was top 5 of his position. He got injured earlier this year, came back, but it's been kind of quiet since. Leonard Williams. You worried a little bit about kind of the lack of production out of Leo, or you think maybe he's still recovering a little bit?
I think he's probably still recovering a little bit, but I think it's kind of similar to what was going on with Aziz and Kayvon, first got on the field in Dallas.
Hmm.
Um, you
Getting
know,
into game shape.
getting into game shape. He hasn't played since what? The first half of the Carolina game or second half of the Carolina game. So he missed all of the rest of that game. He missed the Paris game, he missed the Packers game, and he came back against the Ravens. So I think he's just out of game shape. It's going to take him a little bit to kind of, to get in shape. But the
Yeah,
thing is too is I think that he's playing it well. He's playing okay. I think that he's just being overshadowed now by the play of Dexter Lawrence and the play of Kayvon.
yeah.
Personally,
I think
I
that has
think
something to
that I
do with
think that's
it, but
happening.
it's also you're not seeing him do what he did last year and obviously in 2020. I feel like he's gonna get back there because this leads into my next thing with the defensive lineman, which is and this is something I've been saying for months now. We got no depth there. Like, and I know that the guys we have at the depth for the D line are doing a serviceable job right now. But
Mhm.
we're gonna need to address that in the offseason for sure. Like Nick Williams is doing a good job considering, he's he's really like a third string player playing a second string role for us. And then our
Yeah.
rookie went down, I believe. I don't know if he came back. We're gonna need to get some
No,
guys behind
David
him. Yeah.
Davidson, he's done for the year with a torn
Yeah,
ACL.
we're gonna need to get some guys there because we don't even know if we're gonna. I really want to keep both Dexter and Leo, but I don't know if we'll manage to keep both of them. That's kind of a sad part of it.
I mean, I think Nick has been playing good. You still have Justin Ellis. I think the thing with Dexter is Dexter can play, I think, both Leo's position and his position and do it well.
I
So you
think
could
Leo
bring
can do
in.
both when healthy as well. With the key word of
I
obviously being
I
when
agree.
healthy.
I agree, and I think in the absence, I think that they had Nick and Dex on there, or Justin and Dex. The other thing that they could do too, with Ward, is they could always move Ward if they wanted to, either on the inside a little bit, or and have Quincy Roche or have O'Shane on the field with Aziz. Like, they could do a lot of different things and different stunts and stuff like that. They could do that. I think they'll figure it out. I agree that we don't really have depth. This guy Anderson played on Sunday. He made a couple of plays, but I'm not really too familiar who he is. But they may need to look into seeing who they can maybe add to the practice squad, or see if they can elevate from the practice squad. But I think for now, I think with Leo being back, Nick, Dex, and Justin Ellis there, and they're only running two defensive linemen.
Yeah.
They'll run the two linemen, have them both in the middle, and then they'll have Ward on the inside or the outside playing the defensive end position. And then they're just running a 2 interior linebacker set with Crowder and Jalen Brown and Jalen Smith, and then having Kayvon on the opposite side. That's kind of their base package right. Oh, sorry, right now. And so it's working. It's working. So I like what I saw, man. I think this week is going to be a telling week. We're going to need Leo to step up in a big way to go up against this rushing
Kenan Walker.
attack for Seattle. He's doing a good job. DK's not playing. I feel like we're getting all of these breaks, like, as the season is going on. Like, DK not playing. Matt Ryan just got benched. Like, we have to play the Colts and we're playing a second string, rookie, quarterback. I just feel like there are so many things that are leading up to every game that we're playing that's really happening. And I feel like something special could potentially, I'm not saying Super Bowl, but there's something
And
special
I
going
wouldn't
on right
blame
now
you for
this year.
saying Super Bowl because we're one of the best teams in the NFL right now. I mean, I'm saying Super Bowl on Twitter, like without any type of shame. I'm seeing Super Bowl run on Twitter. To be a little bit more serious, like I said earlier with Mike, I definitely think a legit playoff run, in the sense that we're gonna be in more than one playoff game, is possible.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like we can for sure win a playoff game if we continue to play the way we're playing, and if we get healthy. You bring up a good point. With Leo needs to step up this game. Our run defense needs to step up in general, and I
Big
feel like
time.
once he steps up, we're gonna be back to basically week one. Our run defense was pretty good, and then Leo got injured halfway through week two, and it hasn't been the same since.
Yeah.
Nova, I see you in the back. Don't worry, I'll pop you in. What was the? Oh yeah, I want to swing back to Daniel Jones. You've been a big defender, Daniel, throughout the season, throughout the offseason. I'm just gonna let you go off on him a little bit, and then potentially lead into what you think about wide receiver trades.
I mean, for me, when it comes to Daniel Jones, like, I was a big advocate for defending him, in the beginning of the season. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of felt at one point, I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe it's something like Evan Ingram, where Evan needed to go to another team, kind of reset his career, and it would be better for both sides because he was just getting so much scrutiny. And I was like, I kind of bought into, like, this mantra of just launching the football down the field. And as I'm seeing Daniels play, a couple of things have changed. And one,
Oh, shout out
he's
to Manny in
improving
the
every
chat.
week.
My bad. I didn't recognize because he never has a profile picture. Just M. Go ahead though.
No, you're good. His plays have been improving every week. And not only that, but the more we win, the more we fall out of draft contention. So I think that, right now, I
I
think that
don't. Can I
Daniel
keep? I
Jones.
don't care about draft contention right now because we're 6-1.
No, I
I'm
know
be
that,
honest with you.
but No, I don't really care about like where we land in the draft either. But what I'm saying is like he's making it harder for them to not bring him back. The
Hmm.
more games we win, the further back in the draft we're going to fall, which would make it harder for them to move up. And
Yeah.
that's something that if they decided at the end of the year that, hey, Daniel, you're not our guy, he's making it harder for them to make that decision because moving up from 20 to within the top 10, that's going to cost you.
It's gonna
You
cost a
know, it's
lot. To
you know, so
to play the other side real quick. It's gonna cost a lot, but it's not impossible. One, right? But it's not impossible. The reason I'm bringing that up is because if they truly believe, right, that this is the guy, some dude in the draft, what's stopping you as a GM from moving up? Like a good general manager would move up. And then also for the sake of conversation, if they don't believe Daniel is the guy, by all accounts, the draft after this one is also stacked at QB. So it's like it all depends on what timeline they got in mind. I feel like if I feel like the way this team's performing right now kind of changed the way they viewed this team in terms of how long it's gonna take to get to the biggest point of success, which is obviously winning the Super Bowl. If this 6-1 start and potentially where we end up at, like I think we're definitely gonna end up in double digit wins. It's just which one of those double digits. I feel like that may or may not change the way they're looking at the timeline of this rebuild.
yeah, I mean, so, you know, they were talking about it on you know Revival today. It's like, how many opportunities do you think that you're going to have to get into the postseason? Like, it's not always guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like, especially now, like the way it's looking, like we're in a good division. You know, like Dallas has been playing well these last couple of years. Philadelphia has a good roster, and they're hoping that
Dallas's
Jalen, you
defense
know,
too, by the way, I just want to say I hate the Cowboys and I hate the Eagles, but
defense looks good.
their defensive line, and I
Their
can't believe I'm
front, yeah,
saying
their
this.
defensive line looks
Yeah,
good.
because I thought entering the season the Philadelphia defensive line was the best in the NFL. Not a Dallas defensive line is the best in the NFL. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean their front seven looks good. There's been rumors that the Eagles are in talks with the Chicago Bears for Robert Quinn to try to acquire him. So there's rumors there. If they acquire him, that's just going to be another added arsenal, you know, for their pass rush. But I mean, you have the opportunity where you could potentially do something special this year, and you're not always going to make it in. And it's not, you know, like at the time when the Bills started really getting good, that was when the New England Patriots were on the decline. Like Tom Brady was gone, and you know they were on the decline. So now you're taking advantage of the situation. So I think that Daniel Jones is playing great. I think they're doing everything that you know they're asking him. He's doing everything that they're asking him to do. And he's making it harder on Joe Shane and Brian Dable to look away. You
Yeah.
know, like you just look at the last couple of weeks. Like, you know, Wando Robinson scores a touchdown after the game, you know, with the Ravens, he's looking for Daniel Jones. Like that's the guy he's looking for. In the locker room last week, they're rallying behind Daniel Jones and they're yelling, speech, speech,
And
speech.
he
Like
says, "Let's get
if
back
you're
to
the
work."
G, yeah, and like he's like, let's get back to work. But you know what? That's Daniel. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm shit like that is what does not go unnoticed by an organization. Like Joe Shane notices that. Joe Shane is seeing how these guys are rallying behind this kid. Dave's is seeing how these guys are rallying behind this guy. And I don't think at the end of the day, it's a business. The NFL
Yeah.
is a business and people move on and do things. But when you have something as important as the quarterback position and you have players on your team that are not only buying into your head coach and the culture that your head coach is building, but are now buying in and believing into your quarterback, it makes it that much harder of a decision for you to move on from somebody like that. And
Yeah.
I think that is what's really going to make it extremely, extremely difficult for them. And me personally, and I'll do a little hot take right now. What I think is honestly going to happen is one of two things. I think he's either going to get franchise tagged. More than likely, I think that he's going to get transition tagged. The reason why I say the transition tag is it's like, okay, it gives them a belly up to where, all right, we'll pop the transition tag on you. Let's see what you're going to go ahead and get offers from another team. Because you're going to have guys like Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston that are all going to be available and all going to be free agent quarterbacks that teams may go after. They may not want to pay Daniel Jones when they can maybe go after one of these guys and get these guys for maybe a little bit less. So they could go ahead and somebody could give him an offer. That gives the Giants the opportunity to go ahead and either match or come back with an offer. And if it's something where he can work it out, like, listen, I love Dave's. This is a better opportunity for me to stay where I'm comfortable, get another year in the system, and then maybe I go ahead and I do something. So I think they're going to
I would
franchise or
prefer.
transition tag.
I was
him.
gonna say the transition tag with the thing you brought up. First of all, well said on everything. The transition tag, if that's the route they go, I feel like that's the best one because you, like you said, you could match an offer. I don't listen. Daniel Jones is doing great things for me. I love everything he's doing, but I definitely a part of me wants to see him do it again, and then I'd be way more
Agreed.
comfortable giving him like an actual extension. I'm gonna pop in 2 people here, but also first I'm gonna read a couple comments from the chat. What up, BQC15? Manny says, wish we could play against Matt Ryan, but this team is looking fun, way ahead of schedule. BDE is that real Brian Dable energy. Love it. And DB, you better stay single, man, from what you're saying in the chat. We're gonna pop in 2 people. Like I said, I got Nova and Nate. What up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Yeah, what up, Kush?
Let's
Nate,
go.
I gotta say, Nate, you were
Go
looking
ahead.
good in the
Yeah, bro,
car
the
picture,
beard,
bro.
right?
It's coming along. It's coming along. How you boys doing?
Is that natural? Have you been putting
good.
some beard oil on that, bro? What's that?
I'm just growing it out. I'm letting it grow.
Lucky dude, bro. Let's go right off of what Rob was just talking about. Maybe it's a little early, but your thoughts on, at least based off his performance thus far, what may or may not happen with DJ in the offseason.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you guys are saying is making a lot of sense. Rob, I think you're absolutely right that he's making it impossible for them not to take notice. And that's really all you can ask from a guy like DJ if you're his agent or if you are Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
The best you can do is really just make sure it's impossible for them not to acknowledge what you're doing on the field. And he's doing a good job of that. So I think in terms of what to expect here, number one, it really puts Dable in a tough spot if maybe he doesn't think Jones is the guy of the future. Because then if you turn around and you pull a Bills and you say, hey, I know we just made the playoffs, but, Tyrod Taylor's not our guy. Let's go trade up for Josh Allen. If you do that, Daniel Jones is not an old journeyman veteran. Daniel Jones is still on his rookie contract.
Yeah, he's still really young.
He's a young player. He's a guy that no one has had questions fully answered about yet. This isn't his second chance. This isn't his third chance. This is still his first team. So if you're Brian Dable, right, and you're doing all this stuff, you're hyping him up, you're like, this is the leader of your team, and you're doing all this stuff, and then you turn around and ditch him in the offseason, that's going to come off real bad to the locker room. And that's the kind of culture move that you really just don't want to see from teams. And in terms of the personnel decision, I think there's that side of it, and then there's the side of it that is football players are human beings, man. These are real guys in the locker room. They're actual people that are friends with each other. They're brothers on the field, They're forging relationships. And when you have a guy like Daniel Jones that's so clearly one of the emotional leaders of this team, even if he is a man of few words, it's tough to see him going out there week in, week out, putting his body on the line, taking hits, delivering hits, running the football, playing gritty games. It's real tough to look at a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a rookie, and say, hey, man, you know that guy that you were just absolutely hyped through the roof for after the game, that you jumped on his shoulders as you're leaving the field? He's gone. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's really tough for the organization to do that. I think if you're looking at the salary cap aspect of it, a lot of the most exciting, intriguing moves the Giants could make really are only possible if you're not paying a quarterback. So it's going to be an interesting question. I think transition tag makes a whole lot more sense than franchise tag, certainly. So that's a possibility. If I'm being honest, I think the most likely 2 situations are A, he walks. The Giants say, hey, man, sorry, we're looking for our guy. We're going to start fresh. This organization is going to take a new turn. Or B, they say, hey, Daniel, we appreciate what you've done. You're our guy. And they say, hey, let's work out a deal. Let's do 4 or 5 years. Let's talk about the money. And the idea there is the Giants hopefully do have some leverage, given the fact that Jones, despite what he's put on the field, has just horrific stats, horrific numbers, and they aren't getting much better this year. So hopefully there is some leverage there for the Giants to not have to pay him top 10 quarterback money, and maybe you can get away with a decent discount on a quarterback for your franchise guy. With that said, It's just going to be one of those things we have to wait and see. It's Joe Shane's decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nova. Let me hear you.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me good, first of all? I'm using my mic again. I know it was, like, issues last time. All right.
You're
Yeah, I
good.
mean, I could pretty much mirror everything you guys are saying, and I agree with everything, especially when it comes to Jones, where it's like, I do see him finally taking steps forward, like the things that I felt that was necessary to see out of Jones. Because that's the thing, it's a good point that you bring up mentioning the stats, because I feel like so many people like have a habit to get like too caught up into stats for like all the wrong reasons. Like while they are important for me, it was more important to see like can Jones like, correct the issues that, have been plaguing him his entire career up to this point? And, with the game on the line in critical situations, is he going to be able to put the team on his back, lead us down the field, to win us a game and like not make a mistake and stuff? And he's done that better than any quarterback in the league so far. Literally, like it's a stat. Like he has
Mm-hmm.
more fourth quarter comeback wins than any other quarterback in the league. And it's like,
Game-winning
I
drives
forget
this
who
year.
was saying it. Yeah. I forget who was saying it, but it's like, it's at the point where like I'm really like every week I feel like I'm like, all right, DJ, let's go. Like I know he's gonna take us down the field, and it's just like, what it's another good point you bring up too, where like what it says for building the culture in the locker room, and it's the same argument I make for when people are like, oh, we got to trade Saquon, and it's like, why would you know what type of message that sends, especially when they're saying like to trade him this year when we're
Yeah. Oh
in the
my
middle of
gosh.
having our best
I don't
season
know
in
what some
forever. I'm
fans
like,
are thinking
what does
with
that
that,
say
yo.
to the team? Like, yeah, like trading
And-
Saquon like this. Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but even
No,
worse
go
than
ahead.
that to me is the ones that are saying franchise tag Saquon after this year.
I feel
That's
that will be
so disrespectful.
It will be so
That's such a
disrespectful to a guy that's
disrespectful.
given everything to this team right now, and like is
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the main reasons we're winning. Give him a legit
Sorry.
contract.
Just wanted to.
Yeah, no, you're
Go
good.
on.
But that's another thing too, where it's like, a lot of people don't realize when it comes to trying to build a new culture, because the culture we've had no culture here for the past half decade, almost decade now at this point. But it's like
We've had
I
negative
say,
culture. Let's be
yeah,
real.
literally, like terrible. And I keep saying it and I see it every week, but it's like I don't know about you guys, but like I have never seen the Giants play with like so much heart. Like, and I don't like I know a lot of people like that's something you can't metric or they don't see. But again, it's like week one with Dable hugging Shep and Saquon. It's Kayvon crying after he strip sacks Lamar Jackson, and then it's Jones getting fiery and teary eyed, talking to Dable like on the side. Like that shit like means a lot. Like that goes a long
It
way
feels
for us trying
different.
to, like, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, when we first hired Dable, I've been saying like you could just the energy is so much different. Like when you guys, like when people say like, oh, we should trade Saquon, I'm like, what kind of message is that sent to the team? You're trying to build something new here, and so I feel like we're very much in a similar boat with Daniel Jones at the point where I'm kind of like in agreement where it's like I don't want to just straight up give him the bag and extend him forever, like completely make him the franchise guy after this season.
Go ahead, Rob. What's
Yes,
up?
Mr. Rob. Go ahead.
So, just want to point something out, right? So right now, through 7 games, Daniel Jones has 126 completions, 189 attempts, 1,223 yards passing. He's averaging 6.5 yards per pass, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 20 times. He's got 58 rushes for 343 yards, 3 touchdowns. Technically, he's got 2 fumbles. One was the Hail
Right,
Mary,
yeah.
and then I
I
think
don't
there
blame
was
the one
one.
that Sims hit him on either. Like, who wouldn't fumble in that situation?
Yeah, and I think the other one was against the Tennessee Titans. If I'm
It's
not
neither
mistaken.
here nor there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our guy. I'm gonna read you somebody's stats.
Oh, I
And-
know where you're going with this already.
Yeah,
I love
have a
this.
feeling.
And I want to
Speak
read
on
you
this,
some.
Rob.
I want to read you somebody's stats, and 123 completions at 184 attempts, 1,514 yards, 8.2 average per play, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 15 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Has a QB rating of 98.4. Daniels is actually a 90.8. 77 rushes, 293 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 fumbles, hasn't lost any. Who do you think that is?
Is that the most fraudulent MVP candidate?
Yeah, and
Is that
3-time
Jalen Hurts?
Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. Yeah.
And that is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I was gonna
with
ask, is that Mr. Jalen Hurts?
That is Jalen Hurts with a top 5 running back in Miles
Yeah.
Miles Sanders right now.
Mhm.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, a top
Devontae
5
Smith.
tight end in Dallas Goedert, and what, top 4 offensive line in
Devontae
football
Smith,
right
yeah.
now? Not
At
to mention
least.
Not to mention James Brad, pretty good defense, 2 good corners right now in James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who they just acquired, and a pretty good defensive line.
No, I mean, this bothers me every year. Every year.
Does any of those weapons that Jalen has right now come even close besides Saquon Barkley?
Doesn't even equate.
Like, you could, I'll do this. A.J. Brown and Saquon, you can take them away.
Well, Saquon is the best out of everybody, but he's the only thing that the Giants have.
No, let me take this a step further. Let me take this a step further. Jalen Hurts has the best supporting cast in the NFL, and Daniel Jones has the worst receiving core in the NFL.
The worst, literally the worst.
And
You
it's
know
not
what I
particularly
like?
It's only
close.
getting worse every week because we cannot stay healthy. Like
I'm glad you brought that up though, Rob,
Like,
because my next question was literally gonna be, we're a week away from the trade deadline, or a little less than the week actually. Like,
Oh, please don't.
y'all don't want us to trade for a wide receiver? Go ahead, get all the.
It's just that I hate this conversation. I hate it so much.
I would like us to make a move for a wide receiver. Right now, Denver is asking too much for Jerry Jeudy. They want to second and a
I
fourth
keep
round
telling people
pick.
that too.
That's not good. KJ Hamler.
KJ Hamler,
I'll entertain that. I'll entertain it. He's not proven, but I'll entertain it. Gives you another weapon. DJ Moore is intriguing because I think maybe you could get DJ Moore for just because they want to sell the fucking bag. Excuse my language.
I got one very simple question to ask you. If somehow, some way, Joe Shane manages to work this out with DJ Moore, should he be inducted into the Ring of Honor right away or no?
No.
Okay.
Oof. I mean,
By the way,
I
just
everybody looks at DJ Moore and was like, we got no money. The guy would only cost you $1.1 million right now because his signing
it's
bonus
this
is
year
already
versus
paid.
the rest of the years.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
next year, his signing bonus is going to get carried on by Carolina, so they're responsible for his signing bonus next year, and he's due $19.5 million. You can convert 11 or 12 of that into a signing bonus, spread that out over the rest of his contract, and then there's an out in 2024 for his contract where his dead cap hit is $10.8 million. You could just redo his contract at that point, and just you want to give him a longer contract, spread out his freaking money properly, do it the right way, and do it that way. So he's not really going to cost you a lot. Yes, he's too older. He's like 25. He'll be like 27. I think he's going to be 26 this year, 27. Calvin Ridley's another guy, but you won't be able to get him. He won't be able to play for you until next year. You could probably get him for like a 5th or a 6th rounder. But by the time he's due for another contract, he's going to be almost 30 years old.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like, what's the point there? Jerry Jeudy, if they weren't asking so much, Jerry Judy's 23 years old. He's 6'1". He's from Alabama. He's got ties. I think the Daves could do something with him. Maybe you work out something where, like, hey, you give a 2nd and like maybe a 5th rounder next year or something like that. I might consider that, but they're asking too much right now.
So let me just break this conversation down real quick. Essentially, what we're looking at here is a tale of two sides. The one side is this year, the one side is the future, right? So if you're looking at this year, I am of the opinion that if there is something you can responsibly do to give this team a better chance this year, absolutely do it. Because the NFC, I don't know that it will ever be as weak as it is right now.
Yeah, it looks so
The
vulnerable.
NFC is in shambles. The Packers are terrible. The Bucs look terrible. All these old
Rams.
quarterbacks are falling apart. If you can take a shot at the NFC now, even with this arguably awful roster, do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, just do it. You never
But
know.
here's the problem. Even when you take away the future and just look at right now, all of the options are either too expensive for what you're getting back, or you're looking and fans are saying these names, and you're not looking at it from the standpoint of what you're really going to get. What fans are doing is they're looking for something different, not something better. And when I say that, if you're talking about trading for KJ Hamler, and that's where we are at this point, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking a crap on KJ Hamler. Decent, solid, quality-ish player. But that's not going to be what takes you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna
So
take us
if
to
you're
the
looking
next
at these guys, and you're looking at KJ Hamler, you're looking at Elijah Moore, those are names that, yeah, you can get them for decently cheap, but they're not going to be such a level above, say, a Darius Slayton. I understand that Jerry Jeudy is more talented than Darius Slayton, sure, but his drop problems are worse. And what he's been doing in Denver has not been much better than what Slayton's been doing here. So when you're looking at this, you're looking at different, not better for the franchise. And then you're looking at guys like DJ Moore, who are obviously much better. Obviously, that's an upgrade. But if you're looking at what you're getting back for what you're giving up, Carolina wants firsts for DJ Moore, or first and something. And that's just not worth it. Because you're looking at the future, and you're looking at, if you're going to give up that pick, think about what you could do with that pick instead. Exactly. And it makes no sense. So I am of the camp that, I'm just of the camp that as much as I would love to see DJ Moore in a darker shade of blue, or I would love to see one of these guys get a shot with Brian Dable, it just doesn't make sense.
Judy right now, I think, is like ranked number 7 in beating man coverage this year in the National Football League for wide receivers. His stats are pretty good. I'm going to say this. And Hub, you've known me for a little bit. You've known me for a little bit, baby. You know I make some outlandish takes. Yeah. And some of them come to fruition. Like I said, Saquon Barkley was going to have 1,444 yards, and I'm 550 yards away from him actually having that season. I called that live. So
did you say rushing yards or scrimmage yards? I think you said rushing yards.
I said rushing yards.
Okay.
He's got 906 rushing yards this year, I think. Or no, that's
scrimmage.
That's
scrimmage
yards.
Yeah, that's total.
I was going to say there, Rob. Let's calm down.
To be fair, I said he'd have 2,000
yards.
scrimmage yards, and he's definitely on pace for that.
Oh, by miles.
Yeah, 100%. I think trading for a wide receiver is probably not going to happen. I don't see that.
The reports are suggesting that, yeah. Like, a couple reports saying the Giants might just stay pat.
Yeah, we're going to stay silent.
But they're not. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, I like
We're going to win on Sunday. We're going to go into the bye at 7-1. We're going to play Houston. We're going to win that game. We're going to play the Lions.
Wait, the trade deadline has already passed.
Yeah,
we're going to win that game.
Yeah.
There is somebody that made a little bit of a name for himself against the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, no.
And if the Giants are 9-1 going into Dallas on Thanksgiving,
I just want to say, before you say what you're going to say, somebody commented this in chat as soon as you said there's a guy, like they commented it.
If they don't trade, because there's no way. Listen, Dave's is a smart coach. He's been around football for 20 years, 11 different teams, including pro and including college. You got Shane that has scouted players for the last 20-something years and knows what a number 1 wide receiver looks like because he went and traded for one 2 years ago in Stephon Diggs. And he knows how much an impactful player a wide receiver, or how much a wide receiver can help a quarterback. If they don't make a trade for a wide receiver, it's because they have something that they're aware of, that they know. And wouldn't it be something special if Odell Beckham Jr. made his return to the Giants on Thanksgiving against the team that put him on the map in Dallas? I know it happened in New Jersey.
I just want to say I would bust.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Why are you
Dallas.
like this, Kush?
You would too, Nate. Stop it. You would.
His name is the Hub,
listen,
right?
That's a good point.
Think about this for a second. You're Odell Beckham Jr.
Damn, that's awesome.
You want to win. You're going to tell me that if your Giants are 9-1 or the Bills are 8-2, if you have now I'm going to look at both situations, right? The Bills still have to beat Kansas City in the playoffs. So you still have a challenge. You still have an upward trajectory to try to get there. There's a challenge there. What challenge is there in the NFC?
I mean,
who's there? Who's there? We played Dallas already with a shitty-ass offensive line performance, and we lost that game by 7 points. And had David Stills not fell down, you don't know what would have happened. We could have drove down that field and scored. Saquon Barkley has made a history of highlights against who? The Philadelphia Eagles.
I was gonna say everybody, but that's a good answer.
So,
Yeah.
and right now you got Taylor Heineke that's playing, and we almost beat them.
Lord have mercy.
We almost beat them last
low-key am
year.
more scared
So
of
if
him
we
than
can
Carson Wentz.
almost beat them with fucking Joe Judge, we're gonna beat the shit out of them with fucking Brian Daboll.
No,
and
I
Wink
believe they'll
Martindale.
beat the Commanders either way. But
So we're gonna sweep the Commanders. I think we split with Philly. I think we're gonna go to Dallas on Thanksgiving. Fuck Dak. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck Micah Parsons. Fuck Dexter.
Whoa! Don't be saying that about Micah Parsons. You don't know how he's gonna
he
take
might
that,
turn
bro.
around and do it to you, bro.
yeah,
Fuck Micah. I don't really.
You don't want to use that language with
Bro.
Micah Parsons, bro.
He's the booty
You
warrior
know what?
in the locker room,
In three
bro.
games,
He's the
in
booty
three
warrior,
games,
bro.
Micah Parsons doesn't have a sack against the Giants yet.
Nah, we're
Yeah,
not
but you don't know
talking
what he's
about.
doing in those locker rooms.
Yeah, I was
bro.
about to say we're not talking about on the field, bro. We're
So-
talking about in the locker room.
You,
bro.
you don't want to be
Real
talking
quick.
about fucking Micah Parsons, bro.
real quick,
I
can
don't
I
know
just
about
ask
that
a
one.
question?
Pause.
While I do like your confidence, like in how they're gonna finish out with the schedule, like if you say they're gonna split with Philadelphia, where do you think the win will come from? Do you think it'll come on the finale in Philadelphia or at MetLife?
I don't know where it
gonna be
would
in-
come, but I would much
It's gonna
rather
be in
for
New
it to be
York.
in the finale.
Okay, so if you think it's in MetLife, you realize if you're saying that you think we're gonna, go 9-1 the rest of this stretch, then sweep the Commanders, beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and then beat the Eagles in MetLife. You're saying this team is gonna go 13-1 and go on what, like an 11-game win streak? How many? Yeah, like 11, about 11 wins. Like it's just
Right
I don't
now,
know
when
about the logistics to
in the
that. Like
beginning of the season, before the season started, I said that we were going to only win like 6 or 7 games. That's
I
what
said
I
like
said.
7 to 8.
That's what I said. When I see how this team has been playing, and I see the teams that we are playing, right now we have to play Indianapolis, who just benched Matt Ryan.
For
I'm chalking
Sam
that up.
Ellinger.
Well, he has that
I'm-
Yeah,
shoulder
they look
injury.
terrible now.
I'm picking us to win that game. I think the only other game that we lose,
It might be the Vikings.
Vikings, and I think we
Vikings have
split.
always
One
given
Eagles,
the Giants
yeah.
hell. Like
So you're
Yeah.
talking about 2 losses.
We
And then-
definitely can end up not 14-3, I think.
my
By the
thing
way,
is,
also-
I just continue to grow more concerned with like the injury issue. It's just like
I think by week 12, we're gonna probably have at least 70% of our roster back from injury.
Let me
That's
get
not
this.
a high number, Rob.
Let me
Also,
get
sorry,
this,
before
super
you
chat.
do, Kush,
Yeah.
real quick, just to throw something out there. In chat, Griminator, you don't know what Mike is into. I wouldn't start saying shit like that. He might just call you out. All right,
Let
go
me-
ahead, Kush.
Yeah, let me get this super chat. Shout out to Chris Calate for the $2 super chat. He said, if Nick Gates is 100, do you play him at center or guard? Good question.
Guard.
Center.
center. No,
Center.
I'd say center just because I feel like Feliciano could perform
Feliciano's
better
getting
at
his ass kicked.
guard. Yeah, and
I don't
think
thi-
he's-
I don't- I don't-
Feliciano's
I
getting
don't-
his ass kicked, and he was a solid guard for Buffalo. Shift him over.
Yeah,
The
That's
problem
what
is it's a moot point because Nick Gates is not going to be 100%.
yeah.
I think he will be.
I don't think so.
They're gonna make.
I
the
love
decision
that
in the
he's
next
back, and
couple of days.
I love these in practice and stuff, but like that
Yeah,
leg
it's
injury
gonna be
is just
tricky.
so gruesome, man. I can't see it.
Yeah, his leg got destroyed. Like,
I can see him being maybe half speed. I can see him like on a pitch count by the end of the year, but that leg injury is no goddamn joke.
yeah.
We'll see.
And the other thing
Yes.
is, Nick
Go ahead.
Gates is a tough sumbitch. You know, he is
Yeah,
he
he
is
is.
tough as a $2 steak. Don't get me wrong, but some of these injuries are not toughness things.
A $2
Some of them,
steak.
it's just
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah,
You
you have
physically
no control
can't.
over it. Yeah.
Got you. It's a cheap steak, so it's gonna. I got you.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. Nate is the only person I've heard use that, surprising. But it
I
makes
love
sense.
that expression. I
So-
love it so much.
Let me ask you all about the realistic chances of Saquon Barkley winning MVP.
Not gonna happen.
It-
Sadly.
They never give it to
I
running
just
backs.
want to say, if we
He'll
go,
win comeback player of the year.
I just
though.
want to say, if
Oh,
we
yeah.
go the route
Actually-
Rob says, well, Rob, let me finish. If we go the route you say we're going and we win 14 games, you're telling me
14
Saquon
games, you-
isn't being considered for MVP?
Saquon would have to get 2,000 rushing yards. He'd
Yeah.
have to get 2,000 yards.
I don't even think. if he
And
got
and
2,000
because the way
I
the
think if he
media
got
is,
2,000, he wouldn't even be considered.
Well, the
Because
only
of the
reason
way
I
the
say that is
media
because
is.
Derrick Henry, when he got 2,000 rushing yards, was I think second in MVP voting, and he didn't have Saquon's receiving yards. So maybe
The only reason why
Right.
I say there's a chance, and I mean like
one in a
small chance,
million.
is because Saquon is very, very loved around the National Football League. Like
that is
true.
true.
people want
Because he's
to
a
see
really
that
good guy.
man,
Like, he's genuinely a
like
good
they
guy.
want to see that
Yeah.
kid succeed. I tell you this: when the top 100 comes out,
Oh
Saquon's
yeah.
going to be in the
He's gonna
top
be
5.
high. He's gonna be high. Yeah.
He's going
And
to be.
we
He's
should
gonna be
have
in the top 5.
We should
like the
have
top
a good
100.
amount of players in the top 100.
Andrew
Leo's been
Thomas,
consistently
Dexter
in there, so I
Lawrence.
expect him to repeat.
Honestly, Daniel Jones
Dexter,
at this point.
Andrew, for sure.
Xavier.
Saquon.
By the way,
Xavier.
the problem is
yeah.
that Ligma said it in chat. It's a QB award, so just
Yeah, for the
exactly,
past,
yeah. They're just
essentially
not gonna
since
give it to a running
2012.
back.
I'll say this: I think we're going to have 3 players in the top 25.
3. It's kind of
Yeah,
high.
that's
Who's the 3?
Yeah, that's kind of high.
Sexter
So Saquon.
Dexter.
Andrew Thomas.
Oh,
Saquon
Andrew,
Barkley.
Saquon, and Dexter. Yeah, I could see if that's who it
Yeah,
is.
you know what? Yeah, as a matter of fact, that could be possible. That could
Yeah,
be possible.
I wouldn't even say possible. I'd say likely. Dexter Lawrence
I
is
think we'll
playing
have
out
3
of his
players
mind,
in
and
the
people
top
are taking
25.
notice.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way,
Yeah.
speaking of Dexter Lawrence, and I believe it was you, Coach, that mentioned Leonard Williams. I tweeted this out, and I do just hate to say this, but the more I think about it, the more I am not sure that Leonard Williams is on this team next year. As good as he has been
It's
playing,
just who do we
and
replace him
as
with?
much. Listen, it's not so much a who do we replace him with thing as a how confident are we in Dexter Lawrence's ability to carry the load. You know,
Even
I think
with Dexter
on some
carrying the
level-
load, though, it's like we need
Pause.
another good defensive lineman next to him.
Yeah,
Rob,
Do we have a good
Rob.
defensive lineman next to him?
I don't think we do.
I think they're going to have some level of confidence in the young guys they've got on the roster, but it's less about that and more about the fact that I think Joe Shane is going to see a $32 million cap hit and say, I'm saving that $12 million and going and getting something else. We have Dexter Lawrence, who's going to be an all-pro. Barring injury, he is going to be an all-pro. We have him in the middle. We have our 2 edges on the outside, and Jihad Ward as a rotational guy, and O'Shane Zimmon as a rotational guy.
Well, I don't
We
know
have
about the
Wink
2
Martindale
edges
doing his
because
crazy shit.
Aziz was unfortunately placed on IR, so that man's out
Okay.
for a minute.
I mean for the future.
which
I
is
don't mean now.
unfortunate.
I mean for the future.
No,
But
I hear what
the
you're saying. I'm
point
not trying to
is-
shoot down your point, but I am now as a huge Aziz Ojolari fan, like legitimately
You're
concerned about
questioning
his
his
injury
availability?
history. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
But I think if you're looking at this from Joe Shane's perspective, that $32 million cap hit, thanks Dave Gettleman, with $12 million to be saved, I don't know. I'm not sure he's on the roster next year. And I say that.
Or is it a
It's-
foregone
it's
conclusion
so-
that Kenny is also off at the end of the
Oh,
season?
he's gone. He's
Okay.
so
and
gone.
Galladay is
He's
Yeah,
so
absolutely
gone.
Kenny's gone.
So how-
Unless
so-
Yeah, I was
Kenny
I was
comes
just
back from
crunching the
injury
cap
again.
numbers
Yeah, I was gonna
yesterday.
say. So how
Galladay.
much cap do you think they free up,
Okay.
or do you know they free up with Leo and Kenny
Okay.
gone?
So Kenny, I think we saved 12 or no, we saved 7 with Kenny. I think
I thought it
next
was
year.
like 6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we saved 7 with Kenny next year. I know we saved 12 with Leonard if we cut him. And then on top of that, there's some fat trimming to be done. You're clearing up a few more million. Oh, Rob likes something. But we have a big number we can spend next year, especially before we re-sign guys. Oh, he's
You
giggling.
know who's a free agent next year?
Don't even say it. Don't say Eric
it a wide
Flowers.
receiver?
Don't say it.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Well,
He's a free agent, and
You
he's
want me to keep it
28.
real with you? I'm not bringing
I
him
say
back
he comes
though.
back.
Nah,
You
Nah,
put him in
I'm
the
not bringing
middle
him
of
back.
Jackson Leo's spot.
nah, I'm not bringing him back.
I can't. It's too painful.
We
You
survived.
wouldn't? Why?
We survived just fine without him, bro. Like we legitimately survived just fine without him. We didn't need him.
Bruh, that's a big man. He's a dude.
I mean,
what
to
do you
be fair, I
think
feel like he
Dalvin would
did do a
do in
lot
our
to help Leo
defense?
that year.
What do you think Dalvin would do in our defense?
I'll say this. I think Dalvin would help run stopping, but I would also say this. Defensive tackle is so replaceable.
He's
It's
DN.
so replaceable.
He's
You did
listed
not
as a
just call
DN.
Dalvin Tomlinson a D end. Dalvin
That's
Tomlinson
what,
is a
that's what
tackle.
he's listed as right here.
Rob, I don't
Oh,
care what he's
man.
listed at. Dalvin Tomlinson's a tackle. You know that.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I'll say this.
So
I just hope that I don't know. You bring up a good point obviously from the accounting standpoint, Nate. It would really hurt me to see Leo go, man. It really would.
Yeah, it would
no, I
suck
mean
to
I
see
think
Leo
they
go,
they
but-
clearly like DJ Davidson. Clearly, they like Justin Ellis. I'm not saying they wouldn't find a cheap replacement for Leonard Williams, possibly in the 4th, 5th round, something like that, and try and roll with something else. But it's just the numbers, man.
We should've
Joe
drafted
Shane is
Travis
looking at this
Jones.
cap. Oh God, don't! I'm from Connecticut. Don't start this with me, Kush.
All I'm
But-
saying is I said we should have drafted Travis Jones so many times.
Who?
And-
Who are you replacing from our draft class with Travis Jones? Please go
Who
ahead.
did we take in the 3rd round? Did we take anybody in the 3rd round? I can't remember.
Yes, we had 2 third round
Flott.
picks. Yeah, it was
Flott,
Cordell Flott and
Azudu.
Azudu,
Yes,
right?
it was Flott and Azudu.
I'll
in the
keep
third round.
Azudu.
Yeah.
I'll take what's his name?
You're
I'll
dropping
take
Cordell
Jones,
Flott.
and I would have taken Cordell Flott in like the 5th round because he probably would have been there. But
I'll tell you
You
what.
know,
I mean,
okay.
Flott is such
Brandon,
an interesting player.
But I will say
I
I
like
want to
Flott.
I do want to get this last caller on. He's been waiting for a minute. We're just gonna have 5
Go
people
ahead.
on there. It is what it is. What up, John? How you
It's a
doing, man?
party.
Nothing much.
Hello,
nothing
Green
much.
Jay.
What's up, bro? Go ahead, man.
Yo, I finally came back down to earth. I've been smoking the Packers, and smoking the Ravens,
And then the
I
Jaguars.
almost threw back. I almost went back to the sky because I don't know, but this pack is so good. Oh my god. But yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about the DJ situation or Saquon situation because it's like at this point they're coming back. Like they're coming back. We don't know for how long, but for at least for the 2023 season, they're gonna come back. But what I want to get to is the referee in that game just
Oh
sucked.
yeah, we had to play
Bro,
right.
they tried to give the game to the Jaguars so many
It was
times.
so
terrible.
hard.
Like I'm so
Even
surprised.
with Saquon going out, it's like I feel like he kind of slid and was a little touch like right before his foot hit. And the
Don't-
way they described it on the broadcast was like, yeah, they should have still just let the clock wind, like that he was in bounds, and then it was just like, okay, whatever.
I mean,
I'm
on that
sorry,
last
but
drive,
Saquon
come on,
lost
man.
us that game if we would have lost. I'm sorry. I know we love Saquon and everything, but if we would have lost that game, I'm blaming all of that on Saquon. Because all you had to do is just get
All
the
of
first
it?
Nah,
Yes,
you gotta
'cause
give
we-
some
we
blame to the
literally won
defense
the
too.
game.
So the
You-
defense playing like shit. The
yeah,
whole
you gotta
game,
give.
like,
I was gonna say you gotta
but-
give.
no, but-
Bro, they let
No, no,
Trevor
but-
Lawrence go
like-
up and down the field all
I
game.
know, I
That
know.
defense.
How
At
about
that
how about some
point-
hold
Bro,
on? How about
Travis
some blame
Etienne
for
was
Marcus
the
Johnson?
GM, like-
No, hold on. At least hear me
Yeah.
out. At that
This
point,
man
we
robbed
won
the
the
top.
game. We won the game. Before they reviewed that if you slide in and out, it was 20 seconds left. We won the game.
25, actually.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. We won the game at that point. And then they reviewed it. He slid out.
Okay,
But
but
that's
we
what
also
he-
we also
he
won the
looked like he
game
was kinda
3
in
times on that last Jaguars
That's
drive,
what
and they
I'm-
kept
Yeah.
giving it back to him.
Fabian
That's what I'm
Moreau
saying,
had
like,
that
it's
pick,
just-
and then the magic hands to the face on.
I'll say this: if we lost,
Bellinger,
if we lost the game, I'd be blaming the refs more than anything, bro, because they just
Yeah.
kept giving
Yeah,
the game back to
honestly.
the Jaguars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the defense wouldn't be in that situation if Saquon just went down and we just milked the
he
clock.
was trying to, and I feel like he did though. That's the thing.
He did, like, the
it
first
was
one-
kind of shoddy, but again, ref ball. Like
I know, but like the first time when he got out of bounds, I can't blame you because they pushed you out.
He
The
got pushed.
second twice, like, come on now, are you serious? Like, that's just my nitpick. I'll leave it alone because we win.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, And another thing, roughing the passer, I am done. I'm
Oh,
done.
God.
I am just.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
so bad. It's so
I'm
bad.
just. Dexter Lowe, all he did was grab his jersey and pull him down. Are you serious? Are we gonna call that? Are we gonna? Oh my god! I'm just. Ooh. So what's your
Yeah,
guys'
the
take on that? Because
officiating
I'm just.
I don't
officiating
have a
was
take.
horrible. That's the take. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
like
Crazy
my
ref
take
ball,
is
like-
listen.
anger.
The thing is
my
that
take.
ref ball happens every year. I'm just surprised it's happening with a call that happened like back in 2018, 2019 was the first year they went crazy with roughing the passer. I kind of understand why though. Obviously, we're all saddened and we didn't want it to happen, but you know, Tua being mismanaged is the main
No,
reason.
that is not about roughing the passer.
No, yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Bro, that's the because their explanation is protection of the QB. I think the only
Right,
reason
but
they're
that's-
going
that's
in
not what
hard
that
is because of
was.
the Tua thing.
Tua did not get a single concussion from the sacks. That's not what that was.
I'm not saying it's a direct thing, but their thing is always protecting the QB. There's only
They're
one
trying to be
QB
more
this year that got
protective.
rocked like that.
Okay, yeah, but the NFL says they have reasons for everything. They're never valid.
That's my point. That's my entire
Okay, yeah, okay,
point.
fine. Whatever.
The NFL, I can't even say the word because it's considered a slur now. But yeah,
What?
I know what you want to say.
What?
yeah.
What word is that?
Hit my DMs.
The
real quick,
NFL
Kush.
is highly unintelligent.
Just say the first
Highly
letter.
unintentional, a little bit
Oh,
special,
Gotcha.
a little
Gotcha.
bit extra needs.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other hard
Nah, bro,
R.
I'm just, and then my quarterback runs out of the pocket, slides, and then gets hit,
Oh,
in,
yeah, it
and
gets
there's no
popped,
flag
yeah.
whatsoever.
There's
That's
never
almost-
any roughing the passer for Daniel Jones. It's crazy.
Bro, there's never anything for the. You know what? That's gonna bring me kind of to like another rant I want to go on. You know what has surprised me mostly about this season with the Giants too? I did not think so many fans of so many different fan bases would be so salty that the Giants are doing good this season. It is
Facts.
mind blowing to me, and it's just funny, like the arguments they always bring up. I love the they can ride this little ride, but they're coming down to reality, and it's like, okay, dumbass, what is reality for us? Because reality is this is a team everybody was picking to win 5 games and look like shit, and they've already well exceeded expectations, and our future is only going to continue to get better and better.
I don't
And it's
know,
just funny because
bro.
they keep saying
It
that
shouldn't
like
surprise
one
you
loss is
because
gonna ruin
like
our season.
people have hated the Giants for 10 years for some reason. Like legitimately, I've been saying for a minute.
Yeah, but
People just
You
hate
know
the
how-
Giants for what?
like-
I'll tell you why. Because we beat the GOAT twice. That's why. I am convinced that ever since we
I don't
beat the
think
GOAT twice. What do you mean? Because like
I think it's simpler than that. I think it's
It
simpler
is?
than that. I think people just don't like New York teams. We're easy to hate. That simple.
Yeah, it could be that too. It is just crazy to see though. We're like, again, I just hate the argument of, oh, reality has come in, and they don't bring up the nuances. Like most people don't even know that the Giants are literally like the most injured team in the league, and then it's like, you know, nobody in this fandom is expecting them or picking them to win the Super Bowl. It's like we literally just wanted to see some progress this season, and we're
Well,
already
except
well
Fisk.
ahead of schedule. Like, well,
Fisk
yeah,
is probably picking him to win the Super Bowl.
Fisk is whatever, but
Be
yeah,
careful,
it's
you're
just
gonna end up
crazy,
on the
and it's
shooting
funny
range.
too. Like, yeah, oh well.
Well,
I'll
like,
put
when
on
it
my
comes
best,
to
I'll be
Fisk-
alright. But
when
nah,
it comes
like
to-
No, Fisk is chill. I'm just messing.
No, I know, but when it comes to
yeah, I
Fisk, I
still
feel like
watch
half
his
his
videos
take
from
is
time to time. I just
is
find some of
true.
the stuff he says laughable. But
No, he does take it over the top, but like
Fisk is chill.
he's true. Like he's low key, right? Like the Giants for the past 3 seasons, ever since Joe Judge, should have been at least somewhere around 500, but we just would never were. And then now we're 6-1. Like most of the players are from those 2 seasons. So like the only thing that changed was the coaching staff, and then that's it. We still have the same crappy ass wide receivers. Our offensive line got a whole lot better, and then our defense. Well, our defense has been playing top 10 ball. So this is like nothing really changed besides the coaching, and yet for some strange reason, everybody wants to forget that coaching matters. You cannot win
course it does.
NFL games without coaching. Like, I was watching a video about Justin Herbert saying that. So my question to you: do you think Justin Herbert is kind of overrated? Because I believe that.
I don't. I think
I
he's
wouldn't call
properly
him
rated.
overrated because he's still very young. You know, like
I think Justin Herbert is more complicated than people think he is. I don't think he's overrated. I think a lot of the things people take away from him, which to some extent are fair, a lot of it has to do with the fact that his situation is not as good as people think it is. Some of the coaching in LA
Yeah,
right
it's
now
not.
is extremely questionable.
If the
And
point you're
the-
going with, Sean, is where I think it is, which is comparing to how people react to Daniel Jones, is that people never
Yeah.
reacted rationally to Daniel Jones, in my opinion.
I think with Justin Herbert,
I
a
agree
lot
with
of it
that
is
to a
just
degree.
that he is the hype is not fake in the sense that he's stupid talented. He can make any throw.
No,
He makes almost all the reads. He's a very, very good quarterback. The problem is that the Chargers, as an organization, not as a team even, from the organizational level top down, suck in a lot of ways.
So, question to you guys: do you think he's going to be the next Phil Rivers? Because that's where he's trending to be.
That's a hardcore question, and you might
Phil
not be
Rivers was
wrong.
a great quarterback for a long time, but he
'Cause,
could be.
yeah,
So
Good
I was
quarterback
gonna
has the
say
numbers,
some
but-
Chargers fans think that Philip Rivers is like a first ballot Hall of Famer, so maybe.
Well, he has the numbers to prove it, so I guess.
No, I mean,
He had the
Justin
talent.
Herbert, he could
Even
be.
though
Yeah,
our quarterback
he
has
could be.
2 MVPs and beat the GOAT, so and doesn't, and the numbers, and he still has the numbers, and yet he's not a first ballot. You know what? I don't care.
But no, I think Eli will be a first ballot, even though, and I'll say this too, like, and some Giants fans may hate me, like, but I like Eli Manning, but I was never like the biggest fan of him. But he's still
Okay.
like his accolades are more than enough to get him into like the
Let's
Hall of Fame.
let's talk
Like,
about this for a second. All right, let's talk about the Eli Manning Hall of Fame thing because it bothers me that people are so wildly ignorant about this. The Eli Manning Hall of Fame argument is not about Eli Manning, and if you think it is, you're not paying attention. The Eli Manning Hall of Fame argument is about people who just get so pissed off about the low standard the Hall of Fame has set. And that's entirely fair, but you're taking it out on Eli Manning for no good reason. The fact that the Hall of Fame has let in so many people that really shouldn't is not Eli Manning's fault. At the end of the day, the standard for Hall of Fame is what has been set, and Eli Manning clears that standard. There's guys in there with less yards, there's guys with less touchdowns, less rings, less Super Bowl MVPs, and at the end of the day, Eli Manning has cleared the bar for Hall of Fame. You want to get pissed off? You want to say that he isn't a Hall of Fame quarterback by what should be the standards? Sure, I might even agree. But at the end of the day, the standard is what the standard is, and you can't take it out on Eli.
Yeah.
Well said.
Fair. Well said.
Let me get the last thoughts from you, John, and then I'll just go around the table because I got to close it out here, getting over the 90-minute mark. What you see with the team going forward, man?
If we beat the Seahawks, we're going undefeated until I feel like we might get
Until
swept by.
January.
No, but I feel like we might lose against the Cowboys because at this point, I'm just like, we can't beat the Cowboys to save our lives until we actually do it. Philly, yo, you could no, I ain't scared of nothing that Philly throws at me. Like I'm not. We beat you guys last year with a quarterback who had a literally broken neck. So I don't care about you guys.
I will say, while I'm not scared of them, they are a very different team this season, though. You can't.
Nope. They didn't fix the Giants yet, so nope. And then Washington, yo, just get on your knees.
Hey, yo.
Is
No,
it true?
you don't get to say that, Kush. You don't get to say that. You don't get to say ayo.
That's a
ayo.
big.
It's-
That's
no.
a big ayo, man.
You
Oh,
don't
no,
get
Getting
but
to.
the
they know,
commies.
Hey, yo, come on now. We all know Daniel Jones owns them. Like, come
We
on
gonna
now.
spank them. I'll say that. We are gonna spank them.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then-
not-
I'll say this. I would hesitate for Giants fans to get too cocky here. The
Yeah, me
Giants are a
too,
team
though.
that I think we could beat anyone in the league. But I think we could also lose to anyone in the league.
Yeah, we're very
So,
exploitable. Like,
But
yeah.
I feel like the last game we should have won by at least 10 points.
Agreed. Fully agreed. But
And
that's
could've,
more to my
but
point.
also-
It's more to my point, which is the Jaguars are a team, and that game went in a way that the Giants should have won by 2, I would maybe even say 3 scores. And yet, there we were winning by 1 yard. So I would say I think this team can beat anyone in the league. I wouldn't count the Giants out against anyone, but I wouldn't count
I
anyone
would
out
also-
against the Giants. So
I would also make the argument that the Jaguars game could have got a lot uglier for us in a lot of cases because
yeah.
if that fumble
yeah,
doesn't happen,
true.
that's a score for them. And
Yeah.
honestly, to be fair, I do think that Christian Kirk easily picked up that first down, and Doug Peterson is just an idiot and didn't challenge it, and then we were able to stop him on 4th down. But those are two, like, possessions where they have points there because, like, like the defense, and I guess when you get into the final thoughts, that's something I'm gonna bring up. This defense.
I mean,
like,
this is. You could go ahead and just give your final thoughts right now because I do gotta close it out soon.
honestly, my final thoughts is just looking into the Seattle game. It's just like
Do you want?
I'm
Do you want to
extremely
trade for
worried.
Greedy Williams instead of trading for a wide
yes.
receiver?
Yes, please.
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't be against it, honestly.
Because
I
the
would not be
defense,
against it.
the defense needs some help too. Like it's not like people I feel like are a little bit ignoring the fact that the defense does need some help.
Kush, I love when
Yeah,
you
like-
say things and it makes me feel like you read my tweets. It's so nice. It's a warm, fuzzy feeling.
To be fair, there's been a
Go
lot of
ahead.
people saying
Whatever you're
that.
gonna say. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been
I'm
a
just
lot of
kidding.
people saying Greedy Williams. Go ahead, John. Let me get your last
Yeah,
thoughts,
go
man.
ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
All right, so if we beat the Seahawks, because I think it's at this point it's kind of off. I want to say when we beat the Seahawks, but if we beat the Seahawks,
I don't know.
what are they
Okay.
gonna say?
Like,
I know. I want to say when we beat the Seahawks, but at this point,
If.
it could go either way.
If we
So-
beat
It's
the
a
Seahawks.
huge-
If we
It's a
beat the
huge if.
Seahawks, what are people gonna finally take us seriously?
No.
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 Because like,
You want me
Yeah,
to keep
it
it real with
doesn't
you?
matter. Here's the
People-
thing.
People are not going to take us seriously. We could literally go 15-1 and they still wouldn't take us seriously.
yeah.
Here-
Like
here's
I
the
was
thing.
saying earlier. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Here's the thing. If they aren't taking us seriously now, they aren't going to. The
Yeah.
people that weren't
Yeah.
before that could have their minds changed already have. And they've already said, all right, let's go Giants, fair enough, I see you. Those are the people
Yeah.
that were at the beginning of the season saying they're going to go 4-13, and now they're saying, hey, fair enough, let's see what you do in the playoffs. The people who still don't believe, Daniel Jones could throw 50 touchdowns and they'd still think he's a bench warmer.
Yeah.
So those people are not going to have their minds changed.
Yeah.
And like I said, like this team is just not going to be given respect at all this season because, like I said, everywhere I'm seeing is, oh, reality is coming. It's only a matter of time. But again, we've already well overshot what our mission was for this season. So to us as fans, we know like this season is already a major success, regardless what happens the rest of the way.
We're
But
playing with house
everybody
money.
else just gonna, yeah. Everybody else is just gonna view it like, oh well, like the Giants can literally go to the NFC Championship this season and lose, and like, see, frauds, look, we told you, like they're terrible, and it's just like, okay, whatever.
The thing
like,
is
so
that
there
very
gonna
well
be
might
no
happen.
respect,
I'm not
like,
gonna hold you like that and the reaction.
I mean,
Go ahead, Nate. Let me get your last thoughts. I'll give mine and then we'll close it out.
On anything in particular?
Anything
or
in
just...
particular, bro. Whatever you want to give your thoughts on.
Uh,
College, the cafeteria.
The cafeteria. First off, you know what? That will be my last thoughts. Shout out to the FAU dining hall. You guys are absolutely killing it. Y'all are some stone cold pros. Roast beef, fantastic. Y'all
What's
are
the
doing
favorite
great.
meal you had from there, like so far?
Carnitas pork for sure.
What did it come with? Like you had any veggies with it?
Cilantro rice, and there were some different grilled veggies and tortillas. It was
Heard
beat the
you.
crap out of Chipotle.
Heard you. My final thoughts, and I'm sorry I cut you off, but I do gotta close it out like right away as soon as possible. My final thoughts would be like, I do believe the Giants will make the playoffs and we can win a playoff game
Absolutely.
if we continue to play the way we're playing. But most importantly, if we could get healthy towards the end of the season,
need the
we've
health.
seen teams that get hot and healthy towards the end of the season, and you know some good things can happen. So that's
We
what I'm
need
hoping
Tony and
for.
Aziz like bad, man.
Kadarius Toney, I don't know about that, man, but Aziz Ojulari, yeah, we need Aziz.
Listen.
You still know I'm in the Kadarius Toney camp, but at this point,
I
like,
get the injury
why is-
stuff, but I'm
no,
just
forget
saying,
the
just
injury stuff.
imagine if we get him.
Nova, bro, you know I'm a Kadarius Toney believer, but why was this man tweeting what he was tweeting during the game, bro? He needs to get out of his own head for real. He does.
I mean, I get that,
Like,
but at the same
what is he
time, it's
supposed to
like,
do? Like, clap and cheer? Like, come on now.
Yes, objectively, yes.
You're a
That's
teammate,
correct.
Yeah,
yeah.
but like, come on now.
most of the time,
come
he
on
does,
now. You're,
though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
most of the time, he'll tweet, like, oh, look, we got a good win, or he'll compliment, like, one of the teammates, or if one of them
Okay,
gets hurt, like,
here's
players, whatever,
here's the
but-
problem with Kadarius Toney, because what we're talking about is exactly the problem with Kadarius Toney. Every time a new Kadarius Toney thing happens, every single time, almost consistently, it's not that big a deal. It's a little annoying, but it's not that big a deal. And every single week, there's a new not that big a deal. And eventually, it becomes a big deal. And at this point, Kush said he's a Kadarius Toney fan. I'm as big a Kadarius Toney supporter as they
For
come.
those of you that don't know, this
And-
man said Kadarius.
No.
if
Let
healthy,
me
bro.
say it. Let
Go
me
ahead.
say it. I will stand by this. And if this keeps going the way it goes, I will take that L. I said in the offseason that if Kadarius Toney stays healthy, which, wow, that aged poorly. If Kadarius Toney stays healthy, he will be a top 10 receiver in the league within 2 seasons. And number one, Kadarius Toney can't stay healthy. And number two, it's just so goddamn difficult to stay optimistic. And I really have lost that optimism for him. Because at this point, number one, can't get on the field. Availability is the best ability. Eli Manning, love you, big man. Number two, the escapades at this point. It's not Antonio Brown crap, obviously, because nothing's that bad. But all these little things, they pile up, man. And at some point, you got a problem. And with Kadarius Toney, it's not like you look at
And
him
it's
and
not
say,
even
oh,
like
he's,
we're like
he's
the
gonna get
delusional
suspended for
fans.
anything.
It's not like we're
Right.
the delusional fans that sometimes borderline say racist comments about him. It's just like it's legit. It's
Yo,
legit
thank you for
concern.
bringing that up because they think that people can't see like the coded underlying language and like
They
the
use a
microaggressions
lot of
behind it, but
coded
with the-
language, especially with his rap
his
career.
rap,
Yeah,
it's like
It's a
like,
lot
don't
of
think
stuff.
I don't see what you're doing. Like
Exactly.
Thank you for bringing that up. But go ahead.
But no, that was just really the end of it. I think that we will make a
hurts
playoff
me.
game, and when healthy, we could win a couple games, and we'll see where it goes from there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all the callers and the people on the panel right now. Thank you guys so much for calling in. That's gonna be it for now. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to Young Guns Podcast, and we are gonna be out. Peace.